Hello, high school ceramics class. Today we are going to be doing a short one-day project where we're making a slab textured plate. Okay, so for today you will need a lump of clay I will cut for you. You'll need your canvas board. You will need to select some texture tools to use. There are the rollers that have the blue. There is some lace that you could also use. You'll need a rolling pin. And then you will also need to select a form to drape your slab over. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is combine this clay into a rounded piece. Really take your time to get it nice and smooth. We really don't want to be cutting these because that will make the edges sharp. So we're actually going to keep that organic edge that we get from making the slab. Okay? Then some of you might remember this from junior high. It was always our finger release, but you're just going to wedge it onto your canvas board while patting it with your palm. I want it to be about pinky thickness. It could be slightly thinner for today. Okay, you're generally going to get sort of a circle shape, which is fine. If you want it to be more of an oval shape, you'll get your rolling pin, and I'm just going to roll it upwards and downwards. And that will help you gain more of that oval shape. Okay? So, now that I have this oval shape, okay, you're going to need to grab a stencil. And what we are going to be doing is we're going to be creating a leaf form on the slab and draping it over the form you have chosen, okay? So when you're selecting your texture, you could try the lace, you could roll this over top, you can try multiple textures and see which one you like the most, okay? I'm going to take the lace, I'm going to roll it on there. Okay, with the rolling pin, and I'm going to peel that up and show you guys this beautiful texture you get from the lace. Okay, I'll just really quickly demonstrate on the other side. The rollers, you just hold the handle and roll them forward or to the side, and then you'll get whatever the image is on the rollers. Okay, I personally like the lace the best for what we're doing today. Sorry, I had to grab my tools there, so I'm grabbing my tray with my brush and my modeling knife. Now what I'm going to do then is I have various stencils of leaf shapes for you guys, okay? If you prefer to draw your own leaf shape, you can do that. Rule is it needs to be bigger than your hand, or as big as your hand, okay? If you look at mine, they're about the same size. Otherwise, you won't get enough room to create. Another thing you can do if you really like a certain leaf I have, but you want it to be slightly bigger, is just shadow trace it, okay? And I'm gonna shadow trace, I'm just going to trace about a ½ inch or so away from the actual edge. So hopefully you guys can see that. And that will give me the general form, but it will make it a little bit bigger, okay? So if you want it to be a little bit bigger, you can do that as well. Another option that I've done before is if you want to take a real leaf and roll that into your slab, you can also do that and trace the edges of it. Okay, so really it's whatever your preference is. So you can see I've traced it onto my textured slab. I'm going to take my modeling knife very carefully and I'm going to cut all the way through. When you're cutting a big shape like this, try to keep it all moving in one direction, so that your edges are smooth and they're not going to be choppy. Okay, so like if I can find this corner here, I'm going to pull it all the way back or pull it all the way around so that when my edges come out, they don't look like a saw. So I'm not like sawing at it, I'm picking a point and pulling it in a direction. Okay, It's just gonna make it go a lot faster. If you have some really big leaves at home, like if you have some big oak trees or something and you want to bring one of those leaves in to use for this project, that would be a great idea. Because again, you could roll a real leaf onto your slab. You'd have to put the vein side down, and then you could trace along the edges of that, okay? All right, it's looking pretty nice. So here's my leaf. Before you guys place it onto your form, you're gonna wanna take your brush and you're gonna want to smooth out your edges a bit. So I'm just dipping my brush in the slip. Sometimes your brushes get a little bit dried with that clay in there, so just spend a little bit of time working up those bristles so they're soft again. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth out the edges here because again, those will be the edges of my plate that I'm making, and they will be super sharp if I don't go through them now in the plastic phase and smooth them out. This is meant to be a one-day project, so just kind of keep that in mind, because since it is a slab, clay has what's called a memory, a clay memory, and if you leave this slab, for example, flat at the end of the day, you can't pick it up and then bend it over your form the next day. It's just going to want to crack. Okay, so basically you need to take it to the final form you want it to have at the end of your first day when it's still very plastic and easy to be molded. All right, so now I'm going to select my form. Okay, you could have picked a bowl, you could have picked, I have like some plaster forms. Okay, our goal with the form is just to bend it so it has a little bit of texture, or not texture, but more of a rounded form like a real bowl. Whatever your form is, you're going to place a plastic bag over top of it, okay? And that's just so that we don't have the clay stick to it. And then I'm going to take my leaf and I'm going to place it down over my form and gently bend the tips of the leaf towards the wall of my form. Most of your forms are sort of a bowl-like form, so I'm placing this over the bottom of the bowl. The opening of the bowl is face down and the leaf goes over top and wraps around. Okay, and so I have something that looks like this now. Okay, then you're literally going to just set this out. Make sure your name is on this. This will be the base of your little leaf plate. Okay, we set it out and let it dry. Very simple. Then it goes straight into the kiln, and then we will get to do some fun glaze effects over the texture that you've created. Okay? All right, let me know if you have questions, guys.